Welcome to Ripe Fruit Creative Presents. This episode, we are chatting with Dr. Khalilah Ali, former wife of boxing legend Muhammad Ali. We have a lot to unpack. We will discuss Dr. Ali's autobiography and how she forms ideas. Let's get started. Here is your host, Ebony Kenney.
Dr. Ali, thank you so much. First of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with us. I know you're on your circuit to promote what's going on with you, and we're going to get into that, but I'm just so grateful for the time. I've watched some of your interviews and you seem like such a joy. So we really appreciate this time.
Thank you. It's an honor. I give praise to the Creator for giving me opportunity to once be before the beautiful Sister Ebony and working with Brother King. And this Ripe Fruit Creative Presents, I love it. I think it is awesome. Now, these are the things that we need to teach our children, to write things down, present them, and put it in action. And this is the results. And I thank you so much for letting me come aboard to speak with you.
Okay, well, thank you. We stand on your shoulders. You know, you have a whole etiquette day named after you, so we stand on your shoulders.
Thank you.
So,
we need it so bad.
We really do. You know, and it seems like it all starts with an idea, and that's where we come from with this podcast and interview. We come from the concept of an idea, and you've had a few progressive ideas in your day.
You know what? Yes. And, I thank the Creator he gives it and puts it in your head. And you ask for something and it delivers through your thinking and your thoughts. And that's how ideas are created. And you have to realize most of the time, on the good part, when it turns out to be good, you know that the Creator is there giving you hints and giving you things. It just comes to you. Certain things just don't come to you. It's the Creator's control.
The original
creator. The original Creator, yeah. Right. Always, he's always a part of everything that you do that is correct. Awesome. and right, when you do something that's right. And because a lot of people, they get a lot of ideas that ain't right. You gotta be careful of that one. So just times will tell when you know it's the right thing to do. Ideas are created from thought, from your thoughts. And if you have a creative mind set, then, and you look at your surroundings, then it comes into view, to what you need to do. That's how I feel that I create ideas. And you can also create ideas from observing other people's ideas. You can branch off, You can be inspired by that too.
So I love that. That's a great lead in. So let me ask you, of some of the ideas we've observed, devotion to a creator. I've heard you mention the Creator a few times here. Can you tell us a little bit about the idea of devotion to a creator, where that came from, and just a little about that?
Well, you know what? I grew up a Muslim girl from the beginning. My family and my mother and father is very strong in their faith, and when we're taught by them per se, before we even have thought, you get used to it, and when it works for you and you feel comfortable with it, then you create from it. So when I feel that the Creator has created a lot of things, have given a lot of people insight, has guided my mother and my father to guide me. So that's the most powerful thing that you can learn from your parents, is when they put something down to teach you, and you find that that was a good idea. That was a good idea. And when you look at the rest of the world and you find there are bad ideas around and people don't train their kids, they don't get something from them, but pain and suffering and disappointment.
Sure.
And see, we all are learning and searching in this world. When we make our mistakes, we learn from that, even from that. And sometimes we don't get on track. And sometimes our parents are not fortunate to do the right thing or set you on the path where you need to go.
Sure.
So you have to realize then the creator is there to guide you if you don't have the parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes him the creator, because he's there for you when you don't have parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we learn from that. At least that's how I share my knowledge of how we learn from that. And the create, that's one thing you have to always remember, the creator comes first. You have to always thank him for the good thoughts that makes it comfortable for you.
Sure. And I think that strong faith, I don't think that's by chance. I think that early beginning you had, set you up to have such a strong faith. So how did that model of your parents and that relationship with your creator set you up for the idea of love, this progressive idea of love?
Well, love is a big word. Because love comes in different categories. I have different divisions of love. And it's so universal and wide open. When your mother and father tell you, okay, do this, don't do that. And it's because they've been there already. They've had the experience, but while you're being a child, they expect it to happen to you, but they want you to do it the way they did it because it worked for them, and that's the best that they can do. You will eventually find out your own way of handling it because you have your own life. But just because you don't handle it the way they handled it, that don't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, okay? Mm-hmm. Because we all are individuals, we all think alike, and we all think different because of the experiences that we had in the past as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So you talked about how you've been given the tools and you've lived an experience from what you've been taught. And then at one point you might choose to have an independent thought or an independent idea from that. So can you tell us a little bit what it's like to have this independent thought, even maybe from an African-American perspective, to say, I have an independent thought or idea and I want to do something different? Is there parts of your journey you could share with us related to that?
You made a statement from the Afro-American perspective. Mm-hmm. When I learned about things coming up, it wasn't about gender. It wasn't about the color part of it. Maybe it's because I was fortunate to be raised with Islamic point of view. And when it comes to that, it has no racial bearings in it. It's just the way it is. If the ground sources, like if you grew up as a Christian and your mother and father teach you from the Bible, then you know that they're teaching you from a good source. It has nothing to do with your color. Right. It only has something to do with your source. Mm-hmm. And now to come the way you're talking, I can understand, because there are certain things you must act around, even though it doesn't matter the color, but you have to be aware. Your mother and father know you have to be aware if you say the wrong thing to a wrong person. And if you want to answer someone, you have to understand, always stay on the course of coming from the good book.
Okay.
Regardless. And this will stop out the racial part of it. Because it has nothing to do with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Even if you came up a slave, or even if you came up a sharecropper or a owner of a bank, your actions and your behavior should only be the same. It should never deviate from the good book. It doesn't matter. And, because, we have these issues with the police department, and we're taught, all right, where I was back in the day, that the police department is a company that serves and protect, and they do fall under the authority category. So you have to respect authority. When somebody stops respecting authority, then it's those people who have of color that would treat you a certain way. If you respect and go by the book and just respect people who are in authority, which you should always, any people who are in authority or people who are older than you, your elders, same thing, straight from the book, has no racial binding to it. So if you say, yes, sir, officer, or something, yes, sir, may I help you, sir? Just as always respect. It doesn't matter his color. It doesn't. Whether he's a white cop or a black cop or a yellow cop, it don't matter. If you still go from that simple good book and your mom and dad told you to respect authority, that's it. You got it.
Yeah.
No difference.
Thank you so much. That's such a great reminder, a reminder that we get caught up in those things and they divide us. They seek to divide us. So
exactly.
Thank you for that.
It's all in your attitude.
That's right. And you bring up this great point too about being out in the world and your community, and in, when you have to deal with police officers and other pillars of the community. So how is, in 2021, how is working in your community an innovative idea? How is this an idea to pursue for people?
Well, you know what the good book always say? Love thy neighbor. These days, people don't even know who their neighbor is. You know what I'm saying? Don't care. But when I move, I'm just going to use myself as an example because I can't go wrong in that aspect.
That's right.
If you have a neighbor, you're moving in a new place, you try to get your neighbor. Say, I just moved around here. I just want to know who you are. I want you to know who I am. If you need any help or any assistance, just let me know. Find out who they are. Show them that you're kind. You're coming into this community to help and respect them where they live. And it's not hard to do that. It's a very simple thing. Just as long as you know one of two neighbors, it could be one or two. You don't have to know every neighbor, but at least you know your surroundings and the people that surrounds you. People are more standoffish this day, but kindness rules over all of that. Are you going to say, hello, ma'am, I just moved here. Just be kind. You're here in peace. Show it with your attitude. Show it with your response. People might not take a pumpkin pie from you, but they don't know where you cooked it. They don't know if you poisoned it. But you do go in and you try to give flowers or something like that instead of food. And just say, I'm here. I'm just coming here. Usually the people that's in the neighborhood who's receiving people give flowers, but you could do the same thing. It doesn't cast you off from doing it, but it just shows a good gesture.
Yes.
Community is very important. If anything comes in your community that's not right, you should talk to the people in the community. When stipulations and you watch others and you see something not right, you go to that neighbor and say, look, I saw something that didn't look right. Let's get together. Maybe we can get a community and we have a neighborhood watch or something. It's very nice to, some people just don't want to do that. They don't want to get involved. But see, that's the problem.
Sure.
We should always get involved.
Mhm.
I love getting involved in my community. They were shocked when they said, "Oh, Ms. Ali coming into a senior building. Oh my God, what's she doing here?" It doesn't matter. And I don't care what they say or what they do. I'm just here to let you know I am here.
Mhm.
And if you need anything, when I came into the senior building, they would call me all the time. Would you fix my TV? My antenna's not working. And it's so good to help them without them have to pay somebody to fix it.
That's beautiful.
People living on the income, and you got to give something of yourself sometime.
Mhm.
Not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt. That's why I like working in my community.
I love that. I love that. And that's such a small idea to help someone else. And look how much difference it makes. Yes.
Yeah. Small, but big.
But big. And so I watched a clip of Nona Ray, who played you in the Ali movie, and the scene when you all went to Africa, and just it showed how politically minded you were. And
yes, I was.
Yes, you and had so much care and responsibility there. That's what I read. Is that true? Was that a true depiction of you?
Yeah, that was some of it. I mean, if you really wanted to see the real true conviction of it, you would be really happy. The fact of when we prepared to go to these countries, I go, and we always have some assistance from the government or from the presidents or the ambassador or the person who rules the country. I talked to them and I said, you know what? I am very interested. I'm coming to Africa. And I asked one of the guys, I said, do you have some kind of tour for a safari or something like that to visit the safari? I could see a safari or something in Africa. I've always wanted to go to a safari, to go around the country. I want to see what their trade is, what the women make in the country, how they work, what kind of businesses they have. And that's all I asked for. And they will outline you a tour and everything. While my husband's doing what he has to do, I would like to see the country. When I went to Libya, I asked Gaddafi what the women are doing, what the children are doing, what are they teaching them in schools. I'm very interested in how they teach their children in schools. And I've always been interested in things you don't read in the books. Mm-hmm. So I've always been a correspondent and an advocate when it comes to the women and the children, what they do with their time and their activities.
Sure. And speaking of books, I hear you are working on an autobiography. Can you tell us something about it?
That's going to be a chick book for sure. Yeah. The working title right now is, and my publisher is going crazy right now because that's where they put pictures in there. And so I'm going to make it my business for next week, even though I have a heavy schedule. It's been a heavy schedule for me for the whole month, year, just starting out, trying to get this resolved. And I get projects on top of projects. And sometimes you just have to make your mind up what's more in priority first and then go from there. But honey, it's get overbearing. So my working title for the book is called The Untold Story, The Real Woman Behind Muhammad Ali. And when I say the real woman is the woman who stood with him during all the crises, all his struggling, all his pain, and I had to make a roadmap on our objectives, and I constantly give him support because there was a very emotional time for him. And when they say Muhammad Ali went through this and went through that, he wasn't by himself. I had the same pains and problems on another chord, is to keep him uplifted and positive, because he just didn't know he was going to fight again. And to go through all that struggle and pain of waiting and knowing if he was going to go to jail, it's not an easy road for any woman. And I think I was made for that, to hold him up. And I was there for that purpose, and to guide him as much as I can. Even though he was 8 years older than me, I was a little bit more educated, and I was actually using that as a platform to resolve an idea. There you go. An idea that I had to keep us moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great time for that. I think
Yes,
this is a great time for the title you talked about, because women taking the initiative to support as a choice is,
That's right.
that's where the conversation is now. And I think that's beautiful. I love that working title, you know.
Not only that, you get to know about women. I came up around a lot of strong women, devout for women, meek and humble women, women who supported their husbands, stood fast. They didn't want anything but happiness for their children. Until I met women that came after men's husbands, because they came after mine. Never met no females like that in my life. Didn't even know they existed, because I was young. But there are women out there to destroy your families. They target them. And you know what? I'm not gonna bite my tongue about it. These are women who are relentless. They're relentless. And you know what? Going after somebody's husband, I ain't taking that too well at all. And in my book, I'm gonna talk about those particular women.
I love it.
And these are kind of particular women I try to teach our young children not to become.
Okay.
So those women who are going after other wives' husbands, I'm putting a stop to you guys. Y'all got to stop that.
I love it. Public service.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I'm tired of the trollop, whore, homebreaker. They ain't getting no publicity out of me, because they don't deserve it.
I think we all want to learn from that wisdom that you have from having lived through that experience.
Yeah, it's
and now
nice.
you want to nurture the next generation. You want to help the next generation.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
let's scale out and talk about how ideas arrive to you. I heard you talk about going out and getting the tours in Africa, the education, and all of that. How do your ideas show up to you?
You know what? My ideas basically show up to me. First of all, I try to pray 5 times a day. I try to do the right thing. I try to ask God to guide me, support me, forgive me, have mercy on me. This kind of thing I do every day. And I've conditioned myself over the years to do just that. And besides all of that, what outcomes with that, I realized throughout the years of my lifetime, searching, and you have to realize I'm trying to search for something for me to guide again. I don't have him anymore to guide him, so I have to come up with an idea, something for myself to guide and follow through with something. And the best way to learn how to touch something or come up with an idea that you can actually stand on is your surroundings. What's missing? What is missing in my life? There's something missing here. And when I saw about the women coming in your life, messing with you. I mean, there's no playbook to handle that kind of thing. There's no playbook for it, you know?
Mhm.
So I said, well, first of all, I by being a Muslim, you know, I read the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad, Ibn Abdullah, and he was the last prophet. And so it says in our book. And I found out that he had this character that was so perfect, so serene, so amazing to men all over the world and people who studied his life. And I said, wow, it's all about his character, why he's so famous for it. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to have a mission to teach children to better their character so they can end up like men of Prophet Muhammad times, like men of Jesus the Christ times, like men of Moses time. These were great men of God, and their character was impeccable.
Mhm.
So if we need to have great leaders and great women leaders and great men leaders, we have to go to our children and teach them how to have that character so they can be better leaders.
Mhm.
That's a lifetime worth of job right there.
Definitely.
So I figured that's going to be my goal finding.
Love it.
And I set up a goal for that.
Mhm.
And then I've always wanted to be an architectural engineer. So other than that, I just want to develop an institution or academy to teach girls
Mhm.
and boys better manners so they can be better women,
Mhm.
better teenagers, better mothers, better fathers.
Wow.
So our history of our people,
Mhm.
whatever people you are,
Mhm.
it's for the whole human race. It has nothing to do with particular people.
Mhm.
But it would be so amazing to see our children grow up to be in a family or
Sure.
form, a family form, not living over here or living over there, baby mama dramas, daddy's babies. No, that's gotta stop. We have to put structure, balance back into our lives for our children.
What a beautiful mission.
It's hard. It's hard because everybody ain't gonna follow it, but we got to get as many as we can to follow it, whether thy be Christian, Muslim, or Jewish, or you just ordinary, but you have to be a believer. We have to learn to teach our families to get back into believing.
Sure.
To believing in the power of the Creator who sent you down books to warn you of famine and evil, because it's there. It's not going to go away, but at least we can get out of it as a family. Mm-hmm. So we can leave a legacy for the families.
Yes, for sure. And that mission is so important. Having that communication with Creator allows for the discipline for all of the beautiful seeds that you're planting to come up. So
yeah.
So would you say, so I'm sure that mission keeps you up at night, to whom much is given, much is required,
Yes. So that's not enough time in the day for me. I mean, how I'm going to do this? I only have a certain time to be on earth. So if I can get to enough young girls who think like I think, it'll go on and on and on without me. But the legacy, I want to leave the legacy for my family and their family's family, and maybe it'll catch on, and hopefully it will.
And if not you, who, right?
Yay, somebody's got to do it. I feel good to work on it. I know it's going to be a task, but it's an ongoing task. I mean, it's almost like getting up in the morning, washing your face. Everybody's got to get up in the morning and wash your face. You know what I mean?
They should.
So it's just something, you got to just learn how to do it better. You got to learn how to appreciate the beauty
That's
You
right.
know, it's a beautiful thing, and I love doing it, and I love meeting people and touching their hearts because they touch mine. I know people cared about me, how I grew up, and my parents and my grandparents and my uncles and aunts, and it's a legacy in our family, whether
Sure.
Muslim or Christian. And the Christians part of my family, they just have so many ways that I learned my manners from. You know, I learned these from my family. Mhm.
You have a lot to share. And so before we wrap up, let me ask you about the grid. Can you tell us a little bit about the grid and that work? Yeah.
Yes, but you know what? This is going to make it so much easier. And my point is I I was blessed to get this project, The Grid, that is playing on Amazon Prime right now.
Okay.
Just go to The Grid, and it's got 5 episodes up. But the big episode is when they delivered me the grid as the project to better the grid, to show it be more informative. It's a lot of human trafficking going around. Of course, you know, the drug trafficking never goes away.
Mhm.
And it is to help. I help children in my community. I'm a little gangster, but I help my community. I'm supposed to be from Haitian descent, and there's a lot of girls missing from my community through human trafficking. And this is why that I think about the girls,
Sure.
because the girls are so vulnerable, and you have to, you know, do things that's going to keep you safe.
Mhm.
And you know, you can't take your mother and father everywhere you go, but you have to always take someone with you at all times,
Definitely.
just to keep your safety. But I love the grid. They had me to be on there. Matter of fact, all the kids call me already Mama Ali, but in the grid they call me Mama Soleil. So Mama Soleil is like mother of the sun, and so by me working on that, then I start giving ideas and everything. And as I grew with my ideas, they just landed. Hey, associate producer, that's you. Okay, you can still do that too.
Okay.
So now I'm not only an actor in it, which I love acting, but I'm also associate producer of The Grid. And I'm so thankful to George and Lee Carter and Juice, who was my director. And I just want to do more. Working on this film is giving me experience to work on future films, like for girls and for women.
Okay.
And I just want to be part of the woman in film, and I love it, you know.
I hear that.
And I respect women who were a part of film. So what you got to do, my episode should be coming up pretty soon. So check out The Grid. Is streaming on Amazon Prime right now. And just look for episode 6. Episode 6 of The Grid on Amazon Prime streaming right now. But also, most importantly, I'll be associate producer of The Grid probably for the rest of the season. So I have 5 more episodes to shoot.
That's right. Well, we are going to tune in for Women's History Month. Tune in.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love women history. Is the most best history in the world.
That's right. And
women has been a part of this legacy for a very long time. And it's the balance of man. So when the men do all the machinery, the women do all the other stuff. And that makes our balance. That's what makes our balance. And God willing, I'll be casting this summer for the rest of the episode. So I'll pick you if you're good.
All right. I will work on my skills.
Yes, ma'am. And don't forget to get that chick book.
That's
right. The chick book you got, because I'm exposing those trollops.
I will. We'll be on the lookout for that. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk with you again when you're on the circuit for that. Dr. Khalilah Ali, thank you so much. So much gratitude for coming and spending time with us. And we just really appreciate you.
Thank you, Ebony. You're a wonderful lady. You're doing a beautiful job.
Thank you. Have a
You'll
great
be
day.
you'll be perfect in my casting company. I need somebody like you. Thank you so much.